Hello, gearheads. Picture this. It's 1980, and the world is captivated. A new era in automotive history has begun. The Audi Quattro roars onto the scene, making headlines, revolutionizing the way we think about all-wheel drive. Suddenly, performance is no longer bound by road conditions. It's limitless. But as the world applauded this new contender, few knew the truth. That the story of all-wheel drive began much earlier. 14 years earlier. Before the name Audi Quattro ever echoed through rally circuits, there was a pioneer, a legend. The 1966 Jensen Ferguson formula. This wasn't just a car, it was a vision. A rebellion against limits. A machine that dared to go beyond what anyone thought possible. While others focused on tradition, Jensen sought innovation. Engineering a vehicle that defied gravity and rewrote the rules of what a grand tourer could be. Today we uncover the story that history nearly forgot. The first true four-wheel drive performance car. This is the untold legend of the Jensen. A car that carved its name in the annals of motoring history. A symbol of daring ambition that laid the groundwork for the icons of today. Our journey starts with two brothers, Alan and Richard Jensen, craftsmen with a relentless passion for automobiles. In 1926, they transformed an Austin Chummy into something extraordinary. A boat-tail masterpiece that caught the eyes of Britain's elite. Their work was a promise that Jensen Motors would always seek the extraordinary, the uncharted. They turned that promise into reality in 1934, acquiring W.J. Smith Sons and transforming it into Jensen Motors Limited. From coach-building giants like Austin and Standard to crafting their own production marvels, they shaped the industry. The S-Type in 1935 was just the beginning, leading to the luxurious Jensen PW after the war, and then the Interceptor in 1965. But it was the next step that would truly change the game. A car built not just for the road, but to challenge it. And in 1966, that car took form as the Jensen FF. The Jensen FF wasn't just an iteration, it was a revolution. Built on the Interceptor's grand touring chassis, the FF was extended by 5 inches to house something never before seen in a car like this. A full-time four-wheel drive system, the Ferguson formula. This wasn't a system borrowed from rally cars or adapted from off-roaders. It was a custom-built marvel, one that changed the dynamics of speed and control. Under its sculpted hood, the FF housed a beast. A 6.3-liter Chrysler 383B V8 engine, breathing out 325 horsepower and 424 pound-foot of torque. This power plant, paired with a Torquaflite, a 727/8 3-speed automatic transmission, sent its might to all four wheels, taking the FF from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just around 7.7 seconds. It was a speed machine, yes. But more than that, it was a technological marvel. The Ferguson formula wasn't just about traction, it was about control. A planet carrier mounted on the transmission's output shaft directed power through 3 Morse chains, driving the front output shaft. This meant that while the FF harnessed the raw power of its V8, it also provided unmatched stability, something drivers had never experienced in a high-performance grand tourer. And then, there was the anti-lock braking system. Years ahead of its time. Developed using the Dunlop Maxarette system, originally built for aircraft. It was the first mechanical anti-lock braking ever seen in a production car. No electronic sensors, no computerized controls. Just pure mechanical brilliance that detected slip and adjusted braking pressure with a flywheel-triggered solenoid, allowing the FF to grip the road even when conditions turned against it. It was a system that pumped the brakes 3 times a second, while modern anti-lock braking system pumps at 20 times per second. Yet in its day, this was nothing short of revolutionary. But like any great pioneer, the Jensen faced its share of battles, priced at nearly a third more than the rear-wheel drive Interceptor. The FF was out of reach for most buyers. Its engineering complexity made it a rare sight on the roads, and the need for specialized knowledge to maintain it meant that only a few were willing to take the leap. Yet those who understood its value, those who dared to drive it, knew they were part of something extraordinary. The FF's anti-lock brakes provided an edge on treacherous paths. Its 4-wheel drive delivered a confidence that others could only dream of. Autocar magazine declared it the safest car in the world after testing it on a snow-covered ski slope. They were right. It had unshakable traction, a presence that commanded respect. The Ferguson formula's power, however, came with its quirks. Rust that could sneak into the bodywork, especially around sills and wheel arches. The cooling system needed careful attention to avoid overheating, and the front hubs demanded vigilance. But for those who knew, these were the scars of a car that had dared to pioneer, to lead, and to challenge the very essence of performance. Today, we look back at the Jensen FF and we see more than a car. We see a vision, a symbol of what's possible when you dare to push beyond limits. It paved the way for the all-wheel drive systems that now dominate the world of performance and safety. It was the spark that lit the path, showing us that there's always a way to go further, to dream bigger. Without the FF's courage to explore uncharted territories, there might never have been an Audi Quattro, or the many all-wheel drive marvels that followed. It was a car that did more than set a precedent. It redefined the game. So to the Jensen FF, a machine that took on the impossible, we say thank you for teaching us that true pioneers aren't the ones who just cross the finish line. They're the ones who set the course, and that is a legacy that will never fade.